Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mid-Speeds live class. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone just in case we have students come in, then we won't be interrupted. All right, let's start off with some common words. Here we go. Ready? Use, copy, love, next, here, being, every, night, back, soon, however, because, until, price, better, today, believe, such, course, present, think, old, feel, information, best, note, amount, check, yet, many, never, put, great, possible, cannot, man. All right. You're going to hear words that start with intra and miss. Here we go. Intranuclear, intra-airport, intracellular, intrapersonal, intraocular, intraspinal, intracoastal, intracostal, intracranial, intragalactic, intramural, intramuscular, intraspinal, intrastate, intravascular, intravenous. Introduce, introduction, introductory, introjection, introspection, introspective, introversion, introvert, misadventure, misalignment, misapply, misinform, misjudge, mislabel, mislead, misbehave, miscalculate, mismanage, misplace, miscarry, misconception, mispronounce, misconduct, misdeed, misread, misrepresent, misfile, misfire, misfit, misfortune, misguided, mishandled, mishear, misspoke, mistreat, mistrial, mistrust, misworded. And then we've got words that start with mono. Monochrome, monogram, monograph, monochromatic, monolingual, monolith, monolithic, monologue, monomaniac, monophonic, monoplane, monorail, monosyllable, monosyllabic, monotheism, mononote, monotone. All right. Let's do some medical words. Here we go. Continues downward, side view, considerable mobility, glenoid cavity, spool-shaped, faced downward, metacarpal bones, fluid secreted, fluoroscopic method, opaque fluids, immediate effect, skin surface, develops frequently, infected areas, signifying usually, healing period, inadequate fixation, surgical incision, single bone, ascending branch, symphysis pubis, natural designation, slightly depressed, styloid process, cylindrical shape, longitudinal arch, sensitized film, proper juxtaposition, patient reclines, mechanical contrivances, scar tissue, positive alteration, drawing nourishment, green stick type, indirect violence, ambulatory traction. All right. I've got succession to the British throne. Here we go. Number 1, HRH, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, born 1948, son of Queen Elizabeth II. Number 2, HRH, Prince William of Wales, born 1982, son of the Prince of Wales. Number 3, HRH, Prince Henry of Wales, born 1984, son of the Prince of Wales. Number 4, HRH, the Duke of York, the Prince Andrew, born 1960, son of Queen Elizabeth. Number 5, HRH, Princess Beatrice of York, born 1988, daughter of the Duke of York. Number 6, HRH, Princess Eugenie of York, born 1990, daughter of the Duke of York. Number 7, HRH, the Earl of Wessex, Prince Edward, born 1964, son of Queen Elizabeth II. Number 8, James Viscount Severn, born 2007, son of the Earl of Wessex. Number 9, the Lady Windsor, born 2003, or let me say that again, the Lady Louise Windsor, born 2003, daughter of the Earl of Wessex. Number 10, HRH, the Princess Royal, the Princess Anne, born 1950, daughter of Queen Elizabeth II. Number 11, Peter Phillips, born 1977, son of the Princess Royal. Number 12, Zara Phillips, born 1981, daughter of the Princess Royal. Number 13, David Armstrong Jones, Viscount Linley, born 1961, son of Princess Margaret, the Queen's late sister. Number 14, the Honorable Charles Armstrong Jones, born 1999, son of Viscount Linley. Number 15, the Honorable Margarita Armstrong Jones, born 2002, daughter of Viscount Linley. Number 16, the Lady Sarah Chatto, born 1964, daughter of Princess Margaret. Number 17, Samuel Chatto, born 1996, son of Lady Sarah Chatto. Number 18, Arthur Chatto, born 1999, son of Lady Sarah Chatto. And of course, there are more now. All right. Let's do some Tangle Tamers. Here we go. Graduating journalism. Unprivileged kids. Underprivileged kids. Single-handedly accomplished. Makeshift parliament. Progressive specialization. Cholesterol screening. Medical establishment. Inactivated HIV virus. Wholeheartedly applaud. Schizophrenic cynicism. Debunked myths. Business expanded. Small business centers. Award-winning group. Consumer spending. International intrigue. Towering obstacles. Incredibly irksome. All right, let's do more interesting carbonated drinks, brands, and manufacturers. We started this yesterday, so we're doing a continuation. Here we go. Gray Pico, Hawaiian Punch, Highland Spring, Hires Root Beer, High Spot, Horlicks, Hyper Cow, IBC Root Beer, J2O, Jolt Cola, Jewel Must, KDD Chocolate Milk, Kaya Ora, Kinney, Kiwi Cola, Cola Shaler, Larkspur, La Bon, Lava Cold Drinks, Lead, Lemonade, Lilt, Limca, Lipton Ice, La Cazadi, Mad Dog Energy Lemonade, Marengo, Marvel, Masafi, Maxwell House, Mecha Cola, MDX, Merry Mate, Mineral Water, Minute Maid, Mirinda, Monster Energy, Monster Mocha, Mott's, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, Mountain Dew Code Red, Mountain Dew Live Wire, Mountain Dew Voltage, Mountain Lightning, Moxie, Mug Root Beer. All right. Internet briefs. Let's go over those first. www is what, WAUT.com is DOM, DAUM. .net is duet, DWET. .gov is DWOF. .org is DWORG. @ is AT with the flag. / is FASH. Dot in the middle of the online website would be DOT with the flag. / is BASH, BASH with the flag. All right, here we go. www.retailmenot.com. www.zoolily.com. www.ebates.com. www.yahoogames.com. www.shopathome.net. www.office.com. www.jdate.com. www.craigslist.org. www.woot.gov. www.nivoveto.jp.net. www.ccams.com. www.slickdeals.com. www.soso.net. www.billaby.com. www.dropbox.com. www.livingsocial.net. www.outbrain.gov. www.pixnet.net. www.flatwallet.com. www.alipay.com. www.coupons.com. www.booking.net. www.microsoftonline.com. All right. Let's do some common phrases. Here we go. Where he was, where I was, where was, whether he was, whether I was, whether or not he was, whether or not I was, which he was, which I was, which was, who was, we are, we believe, we believed, we can, we cannot, we could, we feel, we felt, we have been, we have believed, we have had, we recall, we recalled, we recollect, we recollected, we remember, we remembered, we shall, we should, we think, we understand, we were, we was, as you were, if I were, if you were, it were, she were, so you were, that you were, there were, they were, this were, we were, what you were, when were. It's kind of funny they have we was in there, but we will hear it from time to time. So I'm sure that's why it's on there. All right, I'm going to go through and give you some briefs and then give you the sentences. And I'm not going to actually give you the actual brief. If you have any questions, just email me. All right, so you're going to hear contradict. And again, if you don't want to use a brief, then just write it out, okay? Contradiction, contrary, contributory negligence, one of my favorite, TREG, custody, diagnose, diagnosis, direct your attention, directing your attention, distribute, distribution, evidently, eventually, interrogatory, lieutenant, manipulate, manipulation, mechanic, negotiate, negotiation, no foundation, patient, perpendicular, petition, preponderance, preponderate, rear view mirror, schedule, student, summation, temporary, tremendous, vague and ambiguous, another favorite of mine, babes, windshields. And then I don't use these, and if you want them, I will email them to you. Just let me know. Best of my knowledge, best of your memory, best of your knowledge, delivery room, emergency room, energy, and emergency. Yeah, I just think too many variables happen with best of my knowledge, best of your memory, best of your knowledge. So that's why I don't use those three, but other people love them. So it's up to you. All right, here are your sentences. His story will contradict mine. There was a contradiction in terms. Contrary to what you believe, I am not mean. He was killed by contributory negligence. He won custody of my son. I can't diagnose you. The diagnosis was not good. Please direct your attention to the front. Directing your attention takes a minute. I will distribute the pens and paper. The distribution center is closing. Evidently, he is shy. Eventually, I will go there. The foundation is going to be set up. The interrogatory sentence will begin shortly. They will interrogate the witness. Dad was a lieutenant in the service. David can manipulate better than anyone I know. The manipulation lasted 2 years. I wish he were a mechanic. They sent Mark to negotiate. The negotiation is coming along. There is no foundation for that statement. Please be patient. We are trying. The cars were perpendicular with the pole. Please sign the petition. It is a preponderance of the evidence. It would be preponderant to assume that. I looked in the rearview mirror before going. I need to change my schedule. I am a student of UCLA. The summation is complete. The car has temporary tags. What a tremendous relief. That is vague and ambiguous. The bug hit the windshield. To the best of my knowledge, it is true. To the best of your memory, do you remember? It happened to the best of your knowledge. Her husband came into the delivery room. They ran into the emergency room. Kids have a lot of energy. It was an emergency. All right. Our last drill is going to focus on our itty words, and they are in sentences. Okay, so final T for itty, or if you have to come back, you want to come back for IT so it doesn't look like the. Here we go. We live in a nice community. Brevity is the soul of wit. Her sanity was questioned. This is a world of reality. They will report on their feasibility study. She receives an annuity. The continuity was interrupted. Her ability is amazing. The house was built with durability. Your quality is apparent. We believe in equality. He overcame his disability. A guard dog was used for security. In unity, there is strength. They think they have impunity. The bank showed its stability. The nobility in Europe is scattered. Our accountability can be verified. Your handwriting would not pass a legibility test. He is a liability in the office. All right, let's move on. I'm going to move on to a fun poem. We'll call this part of our literary. All right. Here we go. This is called The Generals. I'll make sure I can turn my page so it doesn't get stuck. All right, here we go. Ready? Said General Clay to General Gore, "Oh, must we fight this silly war? To kill and die is such a bore." "I quite agree," said General Gore. Said General Gore to General Clay, "We could go to the beach today and have some ice cream on the way." "A grand idea," said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, "We'll build sandcastles on the shore." Said General Gore, "We'll splash and play." "Let's leave right now," said General Clay. Said General Gore to General Clay, "But what if the sea is closed today? And what if the sand has been blown away?" "A dreadful thought," said General Clay. Said General Gore to General Clay, "I've always feared the ocean's spray. And we may drown, it's true, we may. It chills my blood," said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, "My bathing suit is slightly tore. We'd better go on with our war." "I quite agree," said General Gore. Then General Clay charged General Gore as bullets flew and cannons roared. And now, alas, there is no more of General Clay or General Gore. All right. Now, something a little more serious. This is Congressional Record. It's a speech to the cabinet members. All right. Here we go. Let me give you a word list. You're going to hear latitude, Constitution Constitutionally, Crenshaw, controller, nomination, consultant, General Motors, judicial, cabinet, prominent, regents, ambiguity, integrity, affirm, tenure, David Paul, Michigan, appropriations, Federal Reserve, dedication, and competence. I'm going to start at 120. I'll work my way to 160. Here we go. Mr. Speaker, new presidents are entitled to select their cabinet members, and they should be given a wide latitude in the choice of men and women to assist them. Unlike appointees to the judicial branch who enjoy a life tenure and are constitutionally independent from the executive branch, the cabinet members serve the president during his term of office. Cabinet members should have policies and goals that are similar to that of the president. I will vote to confirm the nomination of David Paul Crenshaw as Secretary of the Treasury. Mr. Crenshaw has been involved in finance in both public and private endeavors. He was a prominent figure in Michigan for many years, working as corporate controller for General Motors, and most recently as director of finance for the state of Michigan. Mr. Crenshaw has served on the board of regents of the University of Michigan, and he also worked closely as a consultant for 10 years to the Committee on New Project Appropriations for the state of Michigan. Mr. Crenshaw is a man of competence, integrity, and dedication. Mr. Crenshaw's record supports my opinion. In response to a number of questions which I and my colleagues put to Mr. Crenshaw at a hearing on his nomination, he did decline to give specific views on certain areas relative to the Federal Reserve and also to the questions regarding allocations of funds to special interest groups in the state of Michigan. Mr. Crenshaw declined to give details in these areas. The Committee on Cabinet Appointees was concerned about these questions and hopes Mr. Crenshaw will clear up these areas of ambiguity. Despite my reservation, I again affirm Mr. Crenshaw's nomination and look forward to working with him in the future. All right. Let's move on to jury charge. The subject here is payment for services. All right, here we go. Again, I'm going to start at 120 and work my way to 160. Here we go. Members of the jury, let me first commend you for the very careful attention that you have been paying to the testimony in this case and to the arguments of counsel. It is a rather unusual case. The plaintiff, Tracy Dole, is seeking a verdict at your hands against Amy Rowland, administratrix of the estate of James Porter, deceased, the defendant. It is the contention of the plaintiff that she, a stranger not related to James Porter, rendered valuable services to Mr. Porter beginning in 2005 and up to March 19, 2016, when Mr. Porter died, that there was no payment in cash made by Mr. Porter to Mrs. Dole during that entire period, about 11 years, that she did receive her board and lodging, but that she was promised by Mr. Porter that he would compensate her for her services by providing in his will for her. That in general is the contention of the plaintiff. She says that no will was found making any provision for her after Mr. Porter's death, and therefore she says she is entitled to receive from the estate of Mr. Porter, from the defendant in this case, the reasonable value of the services which she rendered in reliance upon the promise of Mr. Porter to compensate her by providing for her in his will. To substantiate her claim, she produces the testimony of a large number of friends and acquaintances of Mr. Porter and of Mrs. Dole. It isn't necessary to review in detail all of the evidence submitted by these various witnesses, but it is sufficient to summarize that testimony with regard to the services rendered by Mrs. Dole in the following brief sentences. It is admitted in the pleadings that beginning June 15, 2005, and up to February 1, 2016, the plaintiff, at the request of James Porter, acted as his housekeeper and cared for his sister, who was then ill and incapacitated. It is also admitted in the pleadings that $435 per week was the fair and reasonable value of the services rendered during that rather short period. Mrs. Dole, according to the testimony, continued to act as the housekeeper in the various homes to which Mrs. Porter removed from time to time. She did all of the housework, cooked, cleaned the house, did a lot of extra work in the way of taking care of apartments which were rented to tenants in the house, which they occupied as their residence, and also in the other house on 6th Street, which was owned by Mr. Porter, that was rented out. There is some testimony that she also helped in taking care of merchandise purchased by Mr. Porter in his business, that she helped to make that merchandise saleable. You had the testimony of Mrs. Lawrence, who said she was engaged in an employment agency. She gave it as her opinion that $545 was the reasonable value, in addition to board and lodging, for all of the services which the witnesses claim Mrs. Dole rendered over the period beginning about 2012, when the 6th Street house was acquired. This is a contract in a suit. Now, there are various kinds of contracts. A contract, of course, is an agreement between two parties which imposes a legal obligation. It can be expressed or can be an expressed one, where one agrees to render services and the other agrees to accept those services and to pay for them. There you have an expressed contract. And there can be a contract implied, in fact, where there is no expressed agreement, but where the intention is clear from the conduct of the party. One renders services, and the intention to pay by the recipient of the services can be reasonably inferred from all of these circumstances. That is an implied contract, a contract implied in fact. Then you have a contract which is implied in law, which is the kind of a contract that the plaintiff claims exists in this case. She does not say, and none of the witnesses say, that Mr. Porter ever expressly or implied agreed in fact to pay Mrs. Doolin the reasonable compensation for her services, but she says he did expressly state and agree that he was going to provide for her in his will so that she would be compensated for her services. And because he failed to provide for her in his will, because there is no will found which makes provision for her to compensate her for her services, she says the law implies, out of equity and justice and reason, that she should be able to sue the estate of the decedent for the reasonable value of her services. Therefore, the law implies a contract. All right. Let's move on to Q&A. We're going to start off with a more simple one and then move our way into a more dense one. I'm going to start at 120 and I'll work my way to 160. All right. This is going to be defense questioning. Here we go. Ready? And isn't it true that she had lost her temper with you at times? Yes. And that happened more than once, right? Yes. Now you testified that you could tell that the foster parents didn't like the mom. Was there anything specific that led you to that belief? No, like I said, I could just tell. They was always Lisa this and Lisa couldn't do nothing right. You know, everything that Lisa did was wrong. Okay, now you previously testified that they never talked bad about her, but you could just tell. I could just. Are you now remembering certain things that they said, or just a feeling that you have? No, it's a feeling that I have, you know. Did they ever specifically say that Mrs. Crail did this wrong or Ms. Crail can't do that right? Did they make any kind of statements like that? Well, bringing the kids back dirty and stuff like that, is that what you asking me? I can't make up the answer for you, ma'am. Okay, as far as just talking her down, no. Is that what you saying? Bad about her? No. Okay, and have you ever had any problem with the foster parents since you've been having them on overnights? Never. Had you, they have been uncooperative with you? No. She done something one time that I really didn't like. Okay, what was that? She came to my house and I said I had the kids and I was getting ready to feed the kids their dinner. And as I was feeding them, Karen was sitting in the back of me by the phone, and Mila, which is Diane, was standing up on the side of me, last I saw. So I was fixing the kids' plates, getting ready to feed them. So by that time, I put the plates on the table and I looked around and I didn't see Diane no more. So I asked Karen, I said, where did Diane go? You know, just like that. So I put the plate down and she had opened my door was locked. She had unlocked my door and took Mr. outside. And I went out there and I asked her, because this is during the time that I think they came and come out and look at your house to see how your house is. So at the time, I followed her out there and I asked her, I said, what's going on now? And she had Mr. with her by the hand. And I said, what's the matter? I said, did I do something wrong? Are you checking the yard? Is the grass too high? She never did answer me. She never would answer me. So then she came in the house. It upset me. You don't come to somebody's house and just go out their back door and take over their house. So I went on and fed the kids. So I said, you haven't answered me yet. I said, why did you go out of my back door like that? So she walked to the front and she asked me how long my son is going to be in jail, you know, like that. And I said, well, he got 3.5 years. And she said, oh, no, he'll be out before then, you know. I said, no, I know how long he has, like that. So she never did ask me. She never did answer my question. So all that night, I couldn't rest. And they told me that I probably would get the kids. They had been to Walmart. I told them when I get the kids, I was going to get them a swing. So I thought when she went out in the backyard, they was going to help me buy a swing or something. They never did answer me. So the next date, I called Karen and I asked Karen, I said, Karen, this is bothering me. I said, why did she go out of my back door like that without asking me? Nobody never did ask the question without answer me. It took the trust away. Okay, excuse me. I have just a question. So you are saying that you were upset that they went into the backyard without asking you? Yes. Anything else about that incident? Well, Mister walked in my house and went grandma backyard. I didn't trust him no more. Did you know if he just wanted to go in the backyard and play? No. How do you know that? Not the way it was done. Mister didn't open up his mouth. It was done quietly by my hand. She took him by the hand and took him to the backyard. I said, do you think Lisa is here? Do you think I've done something to him? I don't know if I asked that on the phone, but I do remember asking that. And I think that was over the phone. She asked me why I would think Lisa is there. I said, well, you can't answer my question. Answer me. Why did you go in my backyard? I still haven't got an answer. Excuse me, Ms. Smith, would it be correct to say that when you have company in your house, that you expect everyone to stay in the house? And if they're going to go outside, they would ask your permission or inform you first that I'd like to go outside for a few minutes. Do you mind? Is that what you are saying? Yes, well, not all of my company, but it's the way it was done. It was done sneaky like. No sooner than my back was turned fixing the kids' plates, she was gone out the back door. The door was locked. Thank you. Uh-huh. So it seemed sneaky to you, is that correct? Yeah, yes. Your Honor, I have nothing further. Counsel, no questions. Mr. Jandra, no questions. I may have just one or two. When you first heard from the foster parents that Lauren said that her mother hit her brother, you said that there were two people who told you, and the second person was Mommy Karen. Who was the first person? I missed that name. Mayla. Her real name is Diane. Diane. I didn't recognize Mayla. The kids call her Mayla. The time that you saw Ms. Crail with the children at the mall for the visits, was that at a time that the family therapist, Mr. Morin, was there? I don't know him. Okay. During the last, how long have the children been having overnights with you? A few months? Yes. During any of those overnights, have Ms. Crail ever come to your house to visit the children while they were at your house? No. Have you told her that she cannot? She never does ask me. All right. She didn't even know I had the kids. How do you know that? That I know of because you're talking about Lisa, right? Yes. We didn't. I haven't talked to Lisa. I don't even, This is as much as I've seen Lisa in court. Describe your current relationship with her. It's fine now, but you don't talk to her? No, what I'm saying, I don't have no contact with her then when I was having the kids. But since I've been coming here to court and stuff like that, I don't have no problem with Lisa. Thank you. Uh-huh. One of the decisions that I must make today is whether or not Lauren and Evan can be placed with their mother. Yes, I haven't made that decision yet. In the event that the children are not placed with their mother and the children are placed with you, will you assist the children to visit with their mother? Yes, I will. Would you allow her to visit at your home? Yes, I will. And will you follow all of the court's orders? Yes, I will. Okay, counsel, I would just like to follow up on the court's questions, Your Honor, and you may. Okay, you provided me with some Medi-Cal records pertaining to Evan and Lauren. Is that correct? Yes, I did. And it pertains as to like immunization shots and the follow-up on Lauren's asthma condition? Yes. Okay, who initiated these Medi-Cal appointments for the children? I did. And when did you initiate these Medi-Cal appointments for Evan and Lauren? From the time I got the kids, I said, well, I better start getting the kids their shots now because I'm going to have them and putting them in school. I didn't know how long I was going, so I got on it right away. Okay, let's stop there and change transcripts. And this is our fight robbery gang case. And it's a court case. All right, looks like plaintiff is questioning. She said something like, I told you, if I don't pay her, I don't. Honestly, I don't remember. Do you remember telling the police about the statement that Jeannie made to you? No. Do you remember telling a detective about the statement that Jeannie made to you? I don't think I did. Did you have any injuries from the assault on you? My back hurts. Before that, I had a car accident. So when I got hit and when I got kicked on the side, all that stuff was like I couldn't move at all for like 2 weeks. So you had been in a car accident prior to the beating? No, like before that? Correct. Before that happened, I had a car accident. It's been a while since I had the car accident. But when they kicked me, like my back, it was already messed up from the car accident. So when they were kicking me and they were hitting me with the stick, like my pain, it came back like really bad. Okay, so it made your prior injury worse? Yes. Did you have to seek any medical treatment? For my back, yeah. What did you do in that regard? Oh no, actually, I didn't do nothing because I was like, for whatever. If I'm already messed up, what's the point of doing it? Okay, so you did not go to the doctor? No, because even the officer said you should go. And I said, no, you know. Now, the items that were taken from you on that day during the attack, did you ever get any of those items back? Yes, I did. When did that occur? I don't remember the day when I got them back, but I got most of the stuff. One thing I didn't get was my PS2, the 360, and my cell phone. Those are the 3 things that I didn't get back. Do you remember being shown a group of photos by a detective during the investigation? Yes. Do you remember if you were able to identify any one of the male suspects when you were shown the different photos? Yes, I did, but it's like right now, I don't know, it's weird. What do you mean by that? That like right now, I might not recognize him again. That's what I mean. Do you see anyone in court today that you recognize as one of the male individuals that attacked you that night? It would be hard to say. Well, do you or don't you? No, you don't. No. Are you nervous about testifying today, Mr. Gomez? Yes, I am. Why is that? Because I'm scared that something might happen to me, even because I walk all the time, so I don't know. Something might happen to me during that time. That's why I'm scared. You're scared of possible retaliation? Yes. Nothing further. Mr. Mendez, do you want to go first? Yes, I just have a few questions. Mr. Gomez, when you were on the floor and hands were tied behind your back, yes. Do you remember if you were being spoken to in English or Spanish? In English. Nobody ever spoke to you in Spanish? No. Do you speak Spanish? Yeah, I speak both. Do you know if Ms. Ramirez speaks Spanish? I don't remember. You've never spoken to her in Spanish? Yeah, actually, I have spoken to her in Spanish. We mix it like Spanglish. Okay, now there were two of your friends were in the house with you before anything else happened. Yeah, just 1 second. You have to wait until he finishes his question because I don't have the ability to get two voices recorded at once. And I didn't understand what the rest of his question was or what your answer was because you were speaking at the same time. Please ask that again. You had two friends with you in the house before anybody unknown to you came into the house, correct? Yes. And that was Mr. Santana. He was the one. And then Mr. Rodriguez was the second one. I don't know the other person's last name or name. You don't know the first or last name? No. Do you know if that guy, though, he's a mixed martial artist? You know that much? That's what Jose told me, that he knows how to fight. That's all I know. Did you see him fighting with the two males that came into the house, the two males you didn't know? No, you didn't see. I didn't see nothing else after when I got hit and everything while I was on the ground. That was it. I didn't see nothing else. So you didn't see Mr. Santana fighting either? No. But nobody came to help you fighting? Is that what you're saying? No. You were on your own? Yes. Did you hear anybody call out to you like Mr. Santana or anyone else say, hey, Juan, are you okay? No. Nobody said that. No. All right, let's stop there and do some read back. And I will do our read back at 160, then again at 140. And the last time I will read it back at 120. All right. And this is plaintiff questioning. Here we go. Ready? Now, you were walking towards the house when you noticed the policeman with the flashlight just before he arrested you. Is that right? I was on my way. When I was talking, I seen two ladies standing there on the porch. Two ladies? Yeah, two ladies were standing on the porch motioning. When I seen the two ladies on the porch motioning, I turned around. Why did you turn around? I turned around to go back home. When I turned back around again to go to this liquor store, then I saw a red light flashing on the pavement. Then I turned around to go back home, and then the police flashed the light on me and told me to stop. Why did you keep turning around? Why did you do that? I was wondering what they were motioning for. I thought someone was behind me because I had been waiting for Viola to come by with my money at my house. I see. When you turned around, you didn't see anybody behind you, did you? No. Then you turned around to go back toward the liquor store. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's when I seen the red light flashing on. Then you turned back again. You turned to go back to your house. That's right. That's when the police flashed the light on me. Why did you turn around the second time? Why did I turn around the second time? What do you mean? Well, after you saw the light, didn't you turn around and walk back toward your house? After I seen the light flashing from the reflection from the pavement, then I turned around to go back home. You decided to go back home after you saw the light on the pavement. Is that it? Yeah, I knew that I had a pistol on me. Then, the police would pick me up and carry me to jail for carrying a pistol. That's the only reason you turned around. Is that right? To go home. You wanted to go home before the police saw that you had a gun? Yeah, right. I didn't want to go to jail. All right, so let's do that again at 140. Here we go. Now, you were walking towards the house when you noticed the policeman with the flashlight just before he arrested you. Is that right? I was on my way. When I was talking, I seen two ladies standing there on the porch. Two ladies? Yeah, two ladies were standing on the porch motioning. When I seen the two ladies on the porch motioning, I turned around. Why did you turn around? I turned around to go back home. When I turned back around again to go to this liquor store, then I saw a red light flashing on the pavement. Then I turned around to go back home, and then the police flashed the light on me and told me to stop. Why did you keep turning around? Why did you do that? I was wondering what they were motioning for. I thought someone was behind me because I had been waiting for Viola to come by with my money at my house. I see. When you turned around, you didn't see anybody behind you, did you? No. Then you turned around to go back toward the liquor store. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's when I seen the red light flashing on. Then you turned back again. You turned to go back to your house. That's right. That's when the police flashed the light on me. Why did you turn around the second time? Why did I turn around the second time? What do you mean? Well, after you saw the light, didn't you turn around and walk back toward your house? After I seen the light flashing from the reflection from the pavement, then I turned around to go back home. You decided to go back home after you saw the light on the pavement. Is that it? Yeah, I knew that I had a pistol on me. Then, the police would pick me up and carry me to jail for carrying a pistol. That's the only reason you turned around. Is that right? To go home. You wanted to go home before the police saw that you had a gun? Yeah, right. I didn't want to go to jail. All right, so let's do one last take at 120. Now, you were walking towards the house when you noticed the policeman with the flashlight just before he arrested you. Is that right? I was on my way. When I was talking, I seen two ladies standing there on the porch. Two ladies? Yeah, two ladies were standing on the porch motioning. When I seen the two ladies on the porch motioning, I turned around. Why did you turn around? I turned around to go back home. When I turned back around again to go to this liquor store, then I saw a red light flashing on the pavement. Then I turned around to go back home. And then the police flashed the light on me and told me to stop. Why did you keep turning around? Why did you do that? I was wondering what they were motioning for. I thought someone was behind me because I had been waiting for Viola to come by with my money at my house. I see. When you turned around, you didn't see anybody behind you, did you? No. Then you turned around to go back toward the liquor store. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's when I seen the red light flashing on. Then you turned back again. You turned to go back to your house. That's right. That's when the police flashed the light on me. Why did you turn around the second time? Why did I turn around the second time? What do you mean? Well, after you saw the light, didn't you turn around and walk back toward your house? After I seen the light flashing from the reflection from the pavement, then I turned around to go back home. You decided to go back home after you saw the light on the pavement. Is that it? Yes. I knew that I had a pistol on me. Then, the police would pick me up and carry me to jail for carrying a pistol. That's the only reason you turned around. Is that right? To go home. You wanted to go home before the police saw that you had a gun? Yeah, right. I didn't want to go to jail. All right. Well, since we don't have any students in the live class, there's really no need for me to go back and reread it. So what I want you to do is take your notes and choose which speed you would like to read back to and listen to it again, compare it to your notes, and see how you did. Okay, so this concludes our mid-live speed. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.